Jana Duggar, Strength, Solitude, and a Life Reimagined After Separation from Stephen Weissman. The arrival of a child is often considered a moment of profound joy, one that unites hearts and solidifies bonds. It is a turning point meant to anchor love, cement partnership, and herald the beginning of a shared journey into a future filled with hope, discovery, and mutual responsibility. For Jana Duggar and Stephen Weissman, however, the birth of their newest child became more than a milestone. It became a subtle turning point where lives diverged quietly, reshaping their relationship in ways that were unforeseen, deeply personal, and not publicly articulated. The announcement of the birth was understated. While there were fleeting mentions and careful acknowledgments on social media, there was no grand spectacle, no flood of public posts or official statements, and no celebratory display. Behind this quiet exterior, a transformation had already begun to take root, one that would unfold gradually and fundamentally alter the dynamics of their partnership. In the weeks following the birth, Stephen's presence became increasingly sporadic. What began as extended work hours slowly expanded into consistent physical absence. While intention remained intact, calls, texts, and logistical planning continued. Presence, as anyone in the reality of new parenthood knows, cannot be replaced by mere communication. Jana found herself navigating the vast landscape of daily responsibilities alone, shouldering the weight of caregiving, household management, and emotional sustenance without the physical support that a partner's presence affords. Her morning started before dawn, a quiet ritual of preparation, feeding, and orchestrating the day ahead. Evenings were long and unbroken by shared conversation or collaborative decision-making. The presence of silence, once a gentle companion, became tangible, heavy, and persistent. A constant reminder of the absence of shared labor, shared experience, and shared intimacy. Each day demanded focus, patience, and the discipline to meet the needs of a newborn without faltering, without seeking external validation, and without expressing frustration. Observers close to Jana describe her demeanor during this period as composed yet profound, a study in controlled endurance. She did not frame her situation as a burden, nor did she portray it as a source of resentment. Instead, she embraced the reality of her circumstances, navigating the daily demands with quiet strength and steady resolve. Friends remarked that her capacity for empathy and attentiveness seemed to deepen as she adjusted to the solitude imposed by Stephen's limited presence. The separation was not marked by conflict, argument, or overt disagreement. It was instead defined by a subtle realignment of roles and responsibilities. Where once the couple's life had been intertwined, it now moved along parallel tracks. Stephen's responsibilities outside the home, work commitments, obligations, and personal pursuits, demanded his attention, while Jana's responsibilities within the home required her constant vigilance, energy, and emotional resilience. Despite this distance, Stephen maintained involvement where feasible. He offered guidance, participated in decision-making remotely, and provided financial and logistical support. Yet, the absence of physical proximity reshaped the experience of partnership. Presence in the day-to-day rituals of new parenthood proved irreplaceable, and Jana's growing independence highlighted the contrast between supportive intention and tangible involvement. In those first months, Jana's life became a lesson in resilience, endurance, and self-reliance. The quiet demands of caring for a newborn, when coupled with a partner's distance, illuminated dimensions of strength that had been previously unexplored. She learned to anticipate every need, to problem-solve in real time, and to provide comfort, attention, and care in a consistent, methodical manner. Each successful day reinforced confidence. Each challenge reinforced her capacity to navigate complexity alone. Friends and family noted that this phase did not diminish her warmth or presence. On the contrary, it seemed to crystallize her ability to nurture with intentionality. The home became a space of measured rhythms. Feeding schedules were precisely timed, rest periods carefully observed, and emotional attention continuously maintained. Jana's approach reflected not just practicality, but deep, enduring love, a love that transcended the absence of shared presence and demonstrated the power of consistency over convenience. The child herself became the center of this evolving narrative. Through Jana's efforts, she experienced a home that was emotionally responsive, stable, and secure. Nurturing gestures, deliberate interactions, and attentiveness created a safe environment for early development. Each feeding, each lullaby, and each soothing motion was infused with intentionality, demonstrating Jana's deep commitment to her child's well-being, even in the absence of a fully present partner. Meanwhile, Stephen's absence, though physical, did not indicate a lack of care. He remained engaged through planning, advice, and intermittent visits. He participated in critical decision-making and provided resources necessary for household function. Yet, the nature of presence in early childhood is immediate and tangible. The contrast between Stephen's logistical contributions and Jana's day-to-day involvement became apparent, highlighting the gap between intent and lived experience. The months passed, and the separation became normalized, not through confrontation, but through adaptation. Both parties learned to operate within new parameters. Jana embraced her autonomy without bitterness. Stephen acknowledged the reality of his limited availability while maintaining functional engagement. Their relationship evolved from a shared daily partnership into a more segmented, cooperative framework, one defined by mutual respect, necessity, and practical coordination, rather than intimacy or continuous interaction. Observers reflected on the emotional subtleties of this arrangement. Jana's strength, they noted, was not performative, it was enduring. It was demonstrated through consistency, attentiveness, and emotional stability. Her ability to maintain composure, provide care, and create a nurturing environment in the face of isolation highlighted a profound inner resilience. In contrast, Stephen's role, though less physically present, remained significant in scope and function. His contributions, when evaluated through the lens of logistical and financial support, provided essential structure to the household. The partnership, while transformed, was sustained by coordination, understanding, and deliberate action, rather than proximity or shared experience. This quiet separation illuminates broader truths about partnership, parenthood, and human resilience. It underscores the reality that relationships are multidimensional, and that the presence of one partner, though invaluable, is not the sole determinant of familial stability. Emotional endurance, practical skill, and personal strength define the lived experience of parenthood when circumstances necessitate independence. Jana's experience, in particular, reveals the hidden dimensions of strength required when responsibilities converge on a single individual. Each day demanded navigation of complex tasks, uninterrupted attention, and the capacity to meet both immediate and long-term needs. She learned to manage fatigue, regulate her emotional responses, and provide consistent care, skills that, though invisible to the public eye, define the lived reality of parenthood under challenging conditions. The separation also redefined Jana's sense of self. Previously measured against shared expectations and collaborative decision-making, she now evaluated her role through the lens of completed responsibilities and demonstrated endurance. Her identity, once intertwined with partnership, was reframed through self-reliance, competence, and the capacity to maintain stability under pressure. Friends noted that her resilience was not only practical but also emotional. She cultivated moments of reflection, maintained social connections, and found support in discreet family and friendship networks. These actions preserved her well-being, allowing her to navigate the isolation inherent in a physically distant partnership. Stephen, for his part, demonstrated consistency in areas within his control. While physical presence was limited, planning, decision-making, and periodic engagement remained integral to household function. This balance, while imperfect, allowed both individuals to operate within realistic constraints, acknowledging limitations while sustaining essential connection. The months following the child's birth became a testament to adaptability. Jana redefined the home environment to support both child development and her own capacity for endurance. Stephen's logistical contributions reinforced structure without supplanting the need for daily, immediate involvement. Both parties navigated this unspoken arrangement with civility, patience, and acknowledgement of changing realities. In this environment, the child's upbringing proceeded with stability, emotional responsiveness, and attentive care. Jana's deliberate actions ensured that early developmental milestones were met, emotional bonds were strengthened, and a secure foundation was laid despite physical absence of one parent. As the narrative unfolded, Jana's strength became increasingly evident. Her composure, resilience, and capacity for sustained care contrasted with the subtle fragility inherent in human expectation. She demonstrated that parenthood, at its core, is defined not by proximity, but by consistency, emotional investment, and unwavering commitment. In reflecting on this period, those close to the family observe that the separation was less about discord and more about adaptation. Jana and Stephen learned to navigate evolving circumstances, balancing presence, engagement, and practical realities. The story, while intimate and private, offers insight into the complexities of modern relationships, parenthood, and human resilience. Ultimately, the chapter illustrates that strength is not always visible. It is not defined by dramatic confrontation or public recognition. It exists in quiet endurance, measured care, and the consistent fulfillment of responsibilities. Jana Duggar's experience in the months following the birth of her child is a vivid testament to this truth. Her journey reflects a reality that many face but few articulate: the endurance of solitude, the cultivation of resilience, and the conscious redefinition of partnership. It is a story of quiet courage, unwavering devotion, and the remarkable capacity to meet life's challenges with grace, integrity, and sustained emotional presence. Even in separation, life continues, responsibilities are met, love endures. Strength is exercised not for applause, but for the very real, immediate needs of a child, a household, and one's own evolving sense of self. Jana Duggar stands as an example of what it means to navigate complex life changes with dignity, composure, and unwavering focus. Stephen Wiseman's role, while physically limited, complements the arrangement by providing structure and continuity. Together, they maintain a functional, if transformed, partnership, one defined by adaptation, respect, and the quiet perseverance that underlies human connection. This narrative, at its core, is not about separation as failure, nor about distance as neglect. It is about the subtle, often invisible work of endurance, care, and self-reliance. It is about recognizing that love and commitment can take many forms, that parenthood requires flexibility, and that strength is most often expressed not in grand gestures, but in the sustained attention and care that define everyday life. Through this quiet separation, Jana Duggar emerges as a figure of resilience, composure, and intentionality, a mother, a caretaker, and an individual navigating the delicate balance between responsibility and personal growth. Her story, while private, offers profound lessons on strength, adaptation, and the quiet power inherent in meeting life's demands with presence, dedication, and unwavering focus.